It's a beautiful song from George Strait. So we are so excited. It's time now for our weekly artist spotlight, brought to you by the Gin here in Tifton. We have Scott Brantley in the house.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, so good.
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and you drove all the way down here from East Dublin just to be here, right?
Well, I drove from East Dublin to Chester.
To Chester.
Yeah, and caught a ride with a buddy of mine.
Okay. Well,
And he actually did the driving, so I got lucky. I got to sleep.
But we're so glad you came for this interview. Go ahead.
I can't say that on the air.
Okay. No, Scott, tell us about yourself and growing up in East Dublin.
There wasn't a lot to do, I guess. So only thing I had to do was play music. That was about my only choice. Family played a lot, so yeah, growing up in East Dublin, it was fun. It's not a very big town, and school was right across the road, so I didn't have to go far to school, so I didn't get out very much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, started playing music at a young age, and it's kind of stuck with me, I reckon.
Mm-hmm. So you said your family was musical. What
Yeah.
did they do?
My mom plays guitar, and her mother plays guitar. Actually, she had a radio interview earlier this week. My grandma did.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't get to hear it. I was at work. I'm sorry, Grandma, if you're listening. Grandma Bear is what we call her. But, yeah, she plays. She's still playing. My mom plays. Her brother plays. My dad, he played guitar. And he had 14 siblings.
Wow.
There was 7 girls and 7 boys. There was 15 of them. And I believe every one of them could play some kind of instrument. I guess if, like, the spoons count. But, no, they could all play guitar, bass, or banjo, or piano, or steel, or drums. So when we got together at family reunions on either side of the family, it was a big event. It turned into a concert or something. And all my friends used to look at me funny when I say, yeah, I got a family reunion this weekend. I can't go to your mud bog or whatever the case may be. And they're like, a family reunion? Who does that? And I said, I do, because that was fun to me.
Yeah.
And I got a older brother and a younger sister who both play and sing as well. So yeah, that was always a part of my life, music, growing up and watching my dad play. He did the club thing for a little while. After we got a little bit older, when I was 6 or 7, he kind of decided to call it quits and stay home and spend more time with the family. But I guess it just come naturally. I didn't have nothing better to do. So,
So can you remember some of the first times that you played out in public?
I guess just about any country music artist can attest to they played in church, started in church somewhere. And I remember, I grew up in church. Me and my mom and dad and our family, we all grew up in church, and we started, singing the old hymns and just playing around at the house and stuff. And then when I was I guess about 14 is when I learned how to play bass guitar, and me and my brother decided to start a gospel quartet with a couple of buddies, and we did that for 3 or 4 years.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
That kind of, I don't know, when we got kind of burnt out on doing it, we really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun, and something I look back and want to maybe do again, to start doing that kind of thing again. But we laid off of playing out publicly for a few years, and then decided we wanted to try to do country music, and that's where that started. But that's probably, the first time I really sang in public was with the gospel quartet, because I played music. I played drums and stuff all through high school. I got a guitar when I was 3 or 4 and got a drum set when I was 3 or 4. So I was banging on stuff and running my mom and dad out the house, playing drums, which when you're by yourself and you're a drummer, it's not really fun. It's just loud. But I did that, and I didn't really even think I could sing until when I started trying to sing in the youth choir at church when I was probably 13 or 14, I guess, and probably couldn't sing. I don't know. I thought I could, and that's where that all started, and I was a huge fan of like quartet music, and I listened to all kind of stuff. Boys to Men at that time was a big deal, and I listened to that and learned harmonies, learned how to sing tenor and baritone and stuff. And when we put together the gospel quartet, it was a lot of fun.
What part did you sing in the quartet?
I sang baritone most of the time.
Oh, cool.
Me and my brother would split most of the leads, and we had one more guy. He would sing a lot of the leads, but I sang 80% of the time. I was baritone singer, and which people say is the hardest part to hear, but it came easy for me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was any good at it, but it was fun.
You must have been. It went on to other things?
Yeah, it led to some other things. It was a lot of fun doing that. I mean, I can remember playing 3 churches in one Sunday. You know, we'd
Mhm.
go do a morning service, play a few songs, pack up our gear, and go to a homecoming that afternoon and play another song. And then that evening we'd be at another church.
That's awesome.
And we did that for a long time. Just
Mhm.
about every Sunday we'd stay pretty busy. A little group called the Rising Suns. We did that for about 4 years, I guess.
Like
But
that.
that was a big memory of mine. And I guess that's probably the first time I really started playing in public or singing
Yeah.
in public.
When was it that you decided to be Scott Brantley and be an artist on your own?
You know, that kind of just happened last year.
Wow.
I've only been doing the solo thing for August will be a year.
Mhm.
We started it was, about last July. I was in a band with some other good buddies called Deep Step, and we did that for 4 or 5 years, and we were doing pretty good with that, and it kind of fell apart, I guess, and me and my brother tried to keep it going as a duo, and we did that as a duo, me and David, as Brantley, and it was at the same time when Brantley Gilbert was
yeah.
coming out, and so we didn't do the best job probably of selecting a name, but it was my last name, so it's just kind of all it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
But and then my brother David kind of got out of it, gradually got out of it, and decided he was ready to stay at home and work,
Mhm.
and so it just kind of fell in my lap, and I took about a month off and didn't touch an instrument because I didn't know if I wanted to do it by myself, because from the age of 14,
With
I'd
other
always
people.
been on
Mhm.
stage or in front of people with somebody else. So being a front guy was kind of scary. Being a solo artist was kind of scary, and I didn't know if I wanted to do it. So I told the boys in the band, my band's still with me, and I told the guys, I said, we'll try it a few shows, and if it looks like something we'll try to do, then we'll pursue it. So we're still doing it after
And-
a whole year.
Yeah, that's amazing. What would you say? We talked about this a little bit before the interview. What is it about country music that you love so much?
I think country music is the only genre to me, this is just my opinion, that the lyrics should always mean more than the music. And that's what it should be about. And that's what country music's always been about to me. And you when you listen to other genres of music, which I listen to everything from rock to even hip hop. I mean, to Boys to Men type stuff, R&B, I guess. And I listen to it all. And I guess that's probably why I connected to that stuff too, Boys to Men type stuff, because lyrically it meant something. And when you listen to rock songs, they got good lyrics, but it's more about the music, and you crank it up to hear the music, and so is, the hip hop and that kind of thing. But to me, anything you're going through in your life, whether you're happy or sad or mad or whatever, you can find something in country music you can relate to. And that's what country music ought to be about, and that's just my opinion, and lyrically, it ought to be lyrically driven first, because without the lyrics, it's not a song anymore.
Yeah.
It's just music.
Mhm.
You might as well be listening to karaoke tracks.
Mhm.
And but that's just in my heart, and what I believe, and it may be right, it may be wrong, I don't know, but as
Yeah.
an artist, that's where I stand, so.
Yeah, you talked about like Jesus does, Eric Church, and
Yeah.
about how your wife loved that, and that meant something to you to be able to learn it for her.
Yeah, I got a little, we call it I call it a man cave, but it's not really.
She's probably listening, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, she says the whole house is a man cave. But I got one room in the house where all my guitars are on the wall, and I got a little computer in there. Of course, the ironing board has somehow showed up in my room,
Oh.
so it's not so much a man cave anymore. But I was in there one day and listening to different songs. I was trying to find some covers for us to play out live. We try to keep up and at least keep 2 or 3 current songs that are out on the charts in our sets. And because I do a lot of stuff from the 90s and early 2000s and stuff that I grew up on that means stuff to me, Joe Diffie and different stuff like, Brooks and Dunn type stuff. But I ran across that song and I was listening to it, and she ran in there one day and she said, "You need to learn that song." I said, "Wow, that's good." She said, "No, you really need to learn that song. I think you could do a good job on it." So we put it in the show, and it has been we've done really good with it. I think the crowd always loves it. When we sing the first verse, "I'm a Long Gone Wailing" song on vinyl, the crowd just,
Oh, that lyric
They
right
feel-
there. Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing.
and they feel the dance floor on it, and little did I know it meant a lot more to her, than I thought. Just that she actually felt something with the lyrics, and I believe she does love me like Jesus does.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. So we'll talk a little bit more about your family
Yeah.
in just a little bit. But
Let's
for
do.
right now, what you talked about Boyz II Men, somebody that you like, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Who are some of your other favorite artists and your inspirations?
You know, in country music, I'm a big Haggard fan. I grew up, my dad loved Merle Haggard. And I tell everybody this story. And I've got a cassette tape of my dad when I was 3 years old singing Merle Haggard. And the tape won't hardly play anymore. My wife bought me one of these tape deck that converts it to CD things for Christmas one year when she wasn't supposed to buy me anything. I'm still upset about that. But and she bought it for that tape because she knew I'd want to hang on to that forever, and I've got it on CD now. But and that's growing up, and you can ask anybody in my family. I mean, Merle Haggard was the guy for my dad, and I mean he loved everybody in country music, but Merle Haggard was the guy, so it just kind of got handed down to me. And I mean, I could probably sit here and play you 3 hours worth of Merle Haggard songs and run you out of the room, I guess. But but he was a big influence, and George Strait, of course, because his career started when I was a little kid. I can remember hearing, "You'll always be a fire that I can't put out," and the Fireman and all that stuff when I was a little kid, and growing up, Amarillo by Morning, all that stuff. So he's always been a big influence of mine, and Alan Jackson, when he came along, was huge because he came along about the time I was getting into high school and getting back into really listening to a lot of country music. So he became a big influence, and I think you can hear a lot of all those guys in my music.
Mm-hmm. I can just from listening to the few songs that I've gotten to hear.
Yeah.
And what I think my favorite thing about you so far is when I read your bio and they talked to you about what is your style of country. Somebody asked you that.
Yeah.
And what your answer was.
Well, and I didn't know how to answer that, and I thought about it, and I guess the only way I could answer it it's just country. Mm-hmm. You have alternative country, and you have pop country, and you have what I'm hearing called hick hop. People doing hick hop and rock country, and and that's all good stuff. I mean, everybody has moods when they want to listen to all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with it. I guess what I play is country. It's just what I call just country music. Songs that people can relate to, that I hope they always classify as real. It don't sound like I made up anything there, and just to sound good. I want that's just best definition I could give you, I guess. It's just country.
Well, I want to hear one of these.
If country is an adjective in that sense.
I think it is. Country is an adjective. We're going to take a quick break, come back, and we're going to hear one of those country songs, aren't we?
Yes.
Which one are we going to hear first?
Well, you said that you really like Nobody Likes Sad Songs, which is the title track on the EP, and I'll do a little bit of that one for you.
All righty. You want to take a quick break first?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. More with Scott Brantley is on the way. Here's some Gary Allan pieces.
I hadn't heard that song, did you?
He's my favorite artist.
Gary Allan?
Yes.
I really like a lot.
Listening to I'm so excited about this. The all amazing Scott Brantley. He is our artist spotlight. You're
amazing.
I love how humble you are. You are.
I feel like a comic book character all of a sudden.
All amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, like the Spider-Man. I don't know. Is that what they say about Spider-Man? Something amazing.
Something like that, I guess.
Okay. Well, there you go. You have on red. I guess that's where that came from. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. So tell us about this song you're going to play for us.
Well, to be honest, this song doesn't have a big story. We were up in my producer's office, me and my brother and a couple other guys we was going to write a song with, and we got to talking about how sad songs don't really sell that big anymore, and I was like, yeah, we could sit here and write a sad song, I guess, but nobody would want to buy it, because, everybody wants to hear all the fun stuff, and that was the idea. So that's where the idea came from. It's like, well, nobody likes sad songs. And it become my favorite song on the CD, and it's hard to pick a favorite, I guess. But I'm partial to the country stuff, so it become my favorite song, or it has become my favorite song on the CD. I thought it turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Well, whenever you're ready,
all right,
take it away.
Nobody likes sad songs. I could grab me a paper and pen, grab my old guitar and then pop a top on my favorite brew, sink in the sofa and throw back a few, find a hurting little melody, write some words about misery, and a girl that won't ever come back. Lord knows I sure know a lot about that. But nobody likes sad songs. Somebody done somebody wrong song. How you're feeling when you've been beat down. I like that phone cover. How you're feeling when you're all alone. There's nothing good about a bad day. Ain't nothing fun about a heartache. Or hearing about some love done gone. Nobody likes sad songs. I could tell you how she'd kiss me, hug and love and make a fuss over me. How she would say without a doubt, our love is what love songs are about. Then I could tell you how she'd packed her things. She left me standing in the pouring rain, crying that she'd never ever come back. Man, I could sure write the hell out of that. But nobody likes sad songs. Somebody done somebody wrong songs. How you're feeling when you've been beat down. How you're feeling when you're all alone. There's nothing good about a bad day. Ain't nothing fun about a heartache. Or hearing about some love done gone. Nobody likes sad songs. Nobody likes sad songs. Those loving, leaving, crying, drinking songs. Or hearing about some love done got up and gone. Nobody likes sad songs. Nobody likes sad songs.
Oh my goodness. I'm not kidding when I say you have one of the best voices that has ever been in this radio
Well,
station.
thank you.
And I have had a lot in here. That is so amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
I had somebody actually send me a message and they said, you are the new generation George. That's what they thought when they heard your voice. They
That's a
said,
big
he
compliment.
is awesome.
Well, thank you
and
so
you
much.
are. You do. You have, like I said earlier, you're so humble. And you can tell that in your voice, too. You just have a humble southernness about you. There's another adjective there.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I guess
Yeah.
my mama did her job.
She did. She did. You mentioned my phone cover. You're a big dog fan.
I am
aren't
a
you?
huge Georgia Bulldog fan, yes.
Yes, I was taking a picture to put on our Facebook page, and we got a little
Yeah, she's got a big Georgia
That's
phone
so
case
funny.
there, and I love that. I may have to go home with me. Well, I don't have an iPhone.
Oh,
So.
yeah. I got it off eBay.
Oh,
can get
I
one
may
on
have to
there.
go eBay for
Wasn't that much. Alrighty, so let's get back to you and all the things you're doing. So Nobody Likes Sad Songs. You wrote that one.
Yeah.
You are a very accomplished songwriter, and you've worked with a lot of great people.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. Me and my brother spent a lot of time writing songs together, and we spent a lot of time in Nashville. We were fortunate enough to write with a lot of hit writers. Carson Chamberlain co-wrote on that song, as well as Jimmy Yeary. Anybody who don't know who either one of those guys is, y'all Google Jimmy Yeary or Carson Chamberlain. Look at the stuff they've written. Carson's had numerous number ones. Jimmy's had a lot of number ones on the charts recently. Some Rascal Flatts stuff. Jake Owen. I can't think of the name of the song right now. His latest single was a Jimmy Yeary tune, and but those guys are real hot. I've written with several hit songwriters up in Nashville, and it's been crazy because you learn so much about how to write a song. You know, I wrote a few songs when I was starting out right by myself, and I feel like they turned out pretty good. You know, a couple of them were trash, and a couple of them were pretty good. But when you get up there in big leagues with those guys, and you can learn so much from guys that have been writing songs for years, and so much about imagery. You know, and when you write a song, I mean, you have to paint a picture for someone. I mean, just like that, Nobody Likes Sad Songs. You know, I can see a guy, me. You know, flopping down on his couch and grabbing him a cold beer and popping it back and thinking about things, and he's wanting to write a song. He got a guitar in his hand, you know, and nobody want to hear what I got to say. So that's what that song's about. And when you write a song, you have to try to give somebody, paint a picture, you know, for people to see, because there's not a visual there. Well, you know, music videos are hot now, but back when Hank Williams was doing it, you know, you didn't have music
right.
videos. You had to paint a picture with lyrics, and that's what songwriting's about, you know.
So talk about songwriting and how does it work? Or maybe it's evolved for you. Sitting down, do you like force yourself to write every day? How does it work?
It has, and I probably don't sit down and practice. And songwriting's like guitar playing. It's like, you know, shooting a basketball or throwing a football. You have to practice at it. It's like, you know, but in the same sense, it's like riding a bike. You never really forget how, because when we were going through changes from Deep Step and into the Brantley thing, and then now I'm solo, I took a break from songwriting for a while. And I've just gotten back into songwriting, but yeah, it has evolved a lot, you know, from, like I was saying, from just writing lyrics that rhyme, you know, to writing lyrics that actually mean stuff and can paint a picture for people. You have to give somebody an image to look at, and I think that's where, you know, the songwriting for me it comes to me in spells, you know, and like I can sit down one day and I'm when I want to force the song, it never comes.
Right.
And one of my favorite songs I've ever written, which I will never be able to sing for you here. I've got a video on YouTube. You can look it up when I leave. But it's a song I wrote. It's not about my dad, but it's for my dad. My dad was my biggest hero growing up, and he got diagnosed with cancer a few times, and he was going through a lot, and my family was going through a lot. But I knew that he was always my hero, you know. And growing up, you know, I wanted to be a baseball player when I was younger, and then I got older and learned how to play guitar. I wanted to be a guitar player and a singer. And then when that happened to my family, to my dad, and I realized that Daddy had it all. You know, he had a good wife, and he had a good kids, and a family, and house over his head. And that's kind of what the song's about. It kind of evolves, you know.
Wow.
And it took me 6 months probably to write that, because that was one song that when I started writing, and I knew what I wanted to say the whole time, but I didn't know the words, how to say it. And so I just kind of let it come, and I wouldn't sit down to write it. It was when I was working in the warehouse, riding around on the forklift. I kept a little pen and pad there, and just in case a line hit me, I would jot it down, and I just let that song come as natural as it could. And it took about 6 months to write, and that's not every day sitting down or really trying to focus on it. You know, we've wrote like that sad songs there. It took us probably, you know, an hour, 45 minutes. You know, and a lot of songs you can sit down in one session and finish. When you go up and write with co-writers, you plan to write for one session, what they call one session. A session is usually 3 hours, and you hope to get one song in a session. And but for that song, it's called "That's All I'm Living For." As a bass, you know, I was growing up, and that's all I wanted to be. And then a guitar singer, songwriter, that's all I wanted to be. But then when I realized what life is all about, wow, somebody just cranked up a guitar amp. It sounded like in the other room. But when you grow up and you realize what life is really about, you know, I wanted to be like my dad and have some of the qualities that he had, and I hope I'm hoping I'm half that dad to my daughter and to my future kids as my dad was to me and my mom. And I've had some of the greatest, or still got the greatest mom, and had the greatest dad in the world.
That's wonderful.
And that's what that song's about. And so no, I don't. To get back to the original question, I go everywhere, I guess.
That's okay.
But I don't sit down and force songs. I've tried to do that, and it never works for me. I just have to wake up at 4 in the morning, and I'll sing something into my phone, and I'll go back and listen to it 3 days.
Happen. So
Oh
that
yeah,
does happen to you?
yeah. A smartphone is a songwriter's best friend. But oh yeah, I wrote some songs at 3 a.m. and I'll go back and listen to what I did, and I'm like, my God, I must have been still asleep. And I've actually and maybe there's some other songwriters out there that have done this, but I have actually dreamed songs in dreams. And I can remember dreaming and the song was great. Matter of fact, I wrote a song with Travis Tritt in my dream at the bowling alley.
Wow.
And I remember singing that thing in front of some people, and there was the oddest people there. You know how dreams are. You know, you never. And man, it was a killer tune. But when I woke up, I lost it.
Oh.
And that has happened so many times. You know, I've written.
That's crazy.
And I can remember that I wrote a tune with Travis Tritt in the bowling alley there in Dublin. They were the oddest folks in my dream. You know, people that I hadn't seen in years, or people that may not like me very much. But the song was good, you know. But man, I hate that I couldn't remember it. And that has happened several times actually.
With different artists? that you dream?
Yeah,
That's
you know, and
crazy.
sometimes it may be, you know, family members or whatever. But yeah, I've dreamed songs,
might be
and
a
I can remember
sign.
waking up from a dream thinking, "Man, that was a killer tune." But what was it? And sometimes I've been fortunate enough to come out with some songs. I mean, some of the first songs I wrote by myself, were like that, 3 in the morning,
Wow.
4 in the morning type things. And so yeah, that really does happen.
It really happens.
So smartphone have become a songwriter's best friend. You know,
Yeah.
you always got a voice recorder there when you get a melody in your head. I mean, I've got melodies. I'm more of a melody guy than a lyricist. So when I try to find people to write with, I try to find lyricists. I mean, I do pretty good with lyrics, but I'm more of a melody guy. That's what I would call my strongest point, I guess. But I've got boo-koodles of melodies on there that need lyrics, and man, listening to them is weird. And I hope nobody ever, Kirsten, if you're listening, don't ever go through my phone and play any of that stuff for anybody because it's embarrassing. I hope that my cell phone recordings never get out in public because it would kill me. I wouldn't be the amazing Scott Brantley anymore. It'd be more like the embarrassed
Aw.
Scott Brantley. But yeah, that does happen, and
That's
that's how I maybe some other songwriters have those kind of stories, but
Maybe that's a sign, though, that you need to get a writing appointment with Travis Tritt. Maybe that's the sign. You should
Maybe
tell him
so.
that. Be like, hey,
I'd
we
love
wrote an
that.
awesome song in my dream.
do you remember it?
Okay, speaking of another song, can we hear another one?
Yeah, I may have to get capoed up for this one though. So
Okay. We'll take another quick break,
yeah.
and we'll be back. More music from Scott Brantley. He's our artist spotlight this week, right here on WTIF.
Am I talking too much? I feel like I'm talking too much.
Do what now?
Am I talking too much? I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, it's fine.
I'm terrible at interviews, but for some reason today I'm just talking too much.
No, I like it when you do. It really lets you tell.
I heard this. We didn't really. It's another one of those times we sat down, didn't really have a big idea, and we got to, you get to talking, and we started writing about a girl that you love everything about her, and then you finally find one thing that you don't love about her, and we come out with a song called Her Tail Lights.
Okay.
She got her daddy's green eyes and her mama's complexion. You best believe me, there ain't any question she could drive me crazy with just one touch. You talk about a look, or let's talk about her smile. She could light up the night for a country mile. Weren't nothing about that girl I didn't love. Then last night she packed up everything, told me she needed to spread her wings. I watched her as she faded into the night. I guess I finally found something about her I don't like. That's her tail lights leaving me believing I ain't ever getting over this hopeless feeling, or the memory of her telling me goodbye. I'm gonna miss her laughter, miss her kisses. The only thing I won't be missing for sure are her tail lights. She got those pouty little lips that get on over here grin. Her sweet southern charm always made me give in and say I was sorry whenever we had a fight. And the sound of her voice when she called my name, the smell of her hair when we danced in the rain, the dream of forever as I held her tight. Then last night she packed up everything. She told me she needed to spread her wings. I watched her as she faded into the night. I guess I finally found something about her I don't like. That's her tail lights leaving me believing I ain't ever getting over this hopeless feeling or the memory of her telling me goodbye. Yeah, I'm gonna miss her laughter, miss her kisses. The only thing I won't be missing for sure are her tail lights. Damn those tail lights. Her tail lights.
That's awesome. Scott
Thank you.
Brantley, he is here live in studio as our Artist Spotlight this week. Now, Scott, you've gotten to play some amazing shows and share the stage with some amazing people. Is there one that's been your favorite?
Yeah, that's a very hard question to answer because we've been fortunate to share the stage with a lot of good people, and one that sticks out always to me is when we played a show with Miranda Lambert up in Atlanta. We played at Wild Bill's, and I was sick as a dog. I couldn't hardly make it. I sat backstage. I think my wife went out and got some lemons or something, and they tried to make me up this little concoction to try to get me to feeling better, you know. One of these homemade remedies, and it worked a little bit, but I was barely audible. I couldn't hardly talk. It was a combination of a sinus infection and a like a summer cold, I guess. But fever, I mean, I felt terrible. But and my dad was at the show. My mom and dad made the show, and I remember Daddy walked up to me backstage, and he said, "What you gonna do when you step out there on stage with all them people out there?" I said, "Ain't that many people out there, probably." And me and him walked out of the dressing room in the back, and we walked up the stairs there, and it was just right out of the dressing room. You turn right, and up the stairs, there was the curtain. And I pulled back that curtain, and it was 5,000 or 6,000 people standing out there, you know. And for a small town boy like me, that's a bunch of people. And it didn't bother me. It didn't make me any more nervous. It actually probably made me feel better because playing to you, one person, is harder to me than playing to 5,000 or 6,000 people. And I told Daddy, I said, "It's gonna be good." And it was one of those times when it was time for us to take the stage. The lights went dark, and we walked out on stage, and the crowd erupted. And it make a small town boy feel like somebody. And we played the show, and during the show, I didn't sing as well as I feel like I could have because I was so sick. But I forgot I was sick. Other than not being able to sing and hit the notes like I wanted to, that was the last thing on my mind. That show was energy. I mean, you could cut it with a knife. I mean, it was crazy, you know. And those kind of shows make it easy as an artist because you can just walk out to the edge of the stage and smile, and the crowd goes crazy.
That's
you know, they love it. And but that show always sticks out. I mean, and we've done shows with Jared Neiman and Tracy Lawrence and Luke Bryan and Brantley Gilbert, and those are all little big time. I mean, we had a lot of fun with a lot of those shows, but that one always sticks out. And it was probably because I didn't feel the best in the world, but we do a lot of farm parties and stuff up around Athens, and those always stick out too because it's another and we'll have a good crowd show up just to see me play. And
that's great.
There's nothing like that feeling of people showing up. And when they and this is so cliche of an artist to say this, but when people show up and they know the words to your songs, there's no feeling like it. I mean, you can't explain that. And it can be just one person that you feel like you're not doing the best, or you're having a bad day on stage or something. You find one person out there in the crowd, then they're singing the words to your song that you wrote. Yeah, that becomes that gives you the energy and drive to enjoy the show because there's one person out there that's really paying attention to what you're doing, and those shows are always fun too. So.
Talking about your shows, when you go to a Scott Brantley show, what can folks expect? What do you do?
I've always tried to be the kind of guy that when we play our shows, all right, we play a lot of bars and stuff, I guess, paying dues, and we play Friday and Saturday, and we'll be in different towns and stuff. But I've always tried to pick out, and I do a lot of original songs in my show, because as an artist, ultimately, that's where you want to get. You want people to know your songs, and you want people to come hear you for your songs. But when we learn cover material, other artists, I've always tried to be the kind of guy that it's going to play songs that are not necessarily on every other band or artist set list. Yeah. So we'll try to pick out songs that you may not have heard last night if you were at the same bar and stuff. And I do a lot of stuff from the 90s and from 2000, you know, Brooks and Dunn and Tracy Lawrence and Joe Diffie and, you know, older George Strait, stuff like that. But we'll always try to keep it current, and we'll try to do stuff off of today's charts, too. And then a lot of originals, like I say, and we'll throw in a rock or something. So we try to mix it up. Mm-hmm. You know, you may even hear Billie Jean, Michael Jackson,
that's
something
cool. Yeah.
at my show. We've done stuff like that before, you know. And but we mix it up. We try to stay pretty versatile in what we do. I think I've got some of the greatest group of musicians in my band, and we could do probably anything we want to do as far as music. But those guys stick with me, and we'll give everybody a little bit of everything, I guess.
Mm-hmm. We have a caller on the line for you, actually. Oh. That's why I kind of like.
Is it one of my family members calling in to make me feel good?
No. Hello, caller. You're on the line.
Yes, Scott. I just want to say that you are an amazing artist. And
oh wow, thank you.
For the people who don't have your CD, they need to go get it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, and if you...
You're welcome.
Man, I appreciate you calling, and thank you so much. That means the world to me that you called in just to tell me that.
You're welcome.
If you don't have a copy, I'd like to try to get you one.
Oh, I do. I got it from Wild Bill's. You gave it to me up at Wild Bill's.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you calling in, and I'm gonna give myself a shameless plug. It's scottbrantley.com. For those of you who want a copy of the CD, you can find it there.
Thank you.
I appreciate you calling, bud. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Tony. Well, he's a great supporter of all you guys, all you great up-and-coming artists, and that's awesome. That's
yeah.
But he called.
That's
great.
That's another thing that'll make a small-town guy like me feel like somebody. You know?
When you have, that's right, somebody go out of their way. Talk about, we talked a little bit about your family, and I could tell how much you love your wife when you were talking about her.
Oh,
the
she's
importance of having your family support you.
Yeah, and I'd have probably been give this up 10 times if it wasn't for her whipping my tail about it. She knows how much music means to me and how bad I want to do it, and she keeps me focused on what I want to do, you know. Mm-hmm. And not just her, I mean her family, and they're, you know, when I talked to her dad before I wanted to ask her to marry me, I'm old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned, date it what you want to, but I went and talked to her dad in. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm not going to always be a deadbeat musician for the rest of my life. I want you to know that. If it don't ever look like this is going anywhere, that I will support your daughter and our family. And, you know, I hope that meant something to him, but they've been super supportive, and they've never called me a deadbeat musician, because for a long time, and every musician can tell you this, or artist, there's a time period in there when you're nothing but a deadbeat musician. You have a hard time paying your bills, and you have a hard time, you know, making dues. And fortunately, we've been blessed with good gigs and meeting the right people where we've done pretty good with it. But not just her and her family. My mom and dad were always super supportive. Like I say, my younger sister Tina and my brother David, they're super supportive. They come to the shows, and I've got a huge family. My dad's got 7 brothers, 7 sisters. A lot of them, I'll see them at the shows. So, yeah, not just my immediate family, but my extended family. They've been so supportive in what I've been chasing. And chasing a music star is very, very humbling and very stressful. It can be. But at the same time, it can be very fun and very rewarding, too. So yeah, and my wife has kept me focused and kept my eye on the prize. And I thank the Lord for her every day.
Yes, and I'm not sure if this person on the line it may be just something else, but hello, caller. Yep, that's what it was.
Yep, that was one of my fans there.
Some you never know. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to at least if they did want to talk to you. So right now, a big thing for you, you're nominated for Male Artist of the Year.
Yes, I am.
Country Awards, and we are too for Radio Station of the Year.
Oh, wow.
Vote for both of us.
You know, and I actually, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I did go on there last night and vote for myself. You know, and if you don't believe in yourself as an artist,
right.
You know, who else is going to believe in you? So I did go. I went and put one plug in for myself, and I saw your station on there, and I voted for you guys.
Thank you.
Too.
Yes.
And I hate to say that because there's a lot of other radio stations out there, but just because I was coming today to see you, and I appreciate you having me, I did give y'all a vote.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you can go to georgia-country.com, and you can find it on there.
Yeah,
and
y'all please
it's a great thing
visit.
they're doing to give you guys some recognition.
Yeah, and it is very great, and I've actually when we were playing with the band Deep Step, we were blessed with a couple of the awards, and we won the Band of the Year a couple of years in a row there. And Dan, who's doing that thing, and their little award show that they do is actually very, very cool. I mean, for local artists, it actually feels like almost like a CMA Awards type thing, and it's on a small scale. But he does a very good job of that, and he does a very killer job of supporting local artists and country music in Georgia. So Georgia-country.com. Y'all go in there and give me a vote, if you will, in the male category, and give 107.5 a vote.
That's
on
right.
the radio category. I would sure appreciate that.
We would love that too. I wanted to make sure, of course, you also give a plug to, I'm sure, someone who's been really inspirational to you, Carson Chamberlain. I know right quick, just tell us a little bit about him and what he's done for you.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know who Carson was until Easton Corbin's CD came out a few years ago. And when I heard it, I went and looked it up I wanted to see who produced it. And I found his name, so I started looking into him. And little did I know, he was the steel guitar player for one of my honky-tonk heroes, Keith Whitley.
Wow.
And
Cool.
who ranks right up there in the top one. I'll say the top one because there's about 4 or 5 people who shared the top one spot. And for him to have played with Keith Whitley, and he was Alan Jackson's manager, and then I hear this CD he's producing on Easton. It was a no-brainer for me that's the direction I wanted to go. So we were fortunate enough to get a meeting with him. We played some songs for him, and he really liked it. And man, and working with someone who's had the success in the business that he has had is such an amazing thing for me, and it meant so much to me to be able to do that, because I mean he was not only hot. I mean, he produced some #1 albums, but he's had #1 hits as a songwriter.
Right. I saw Between the Devil and Me, right?
Yeah, Best Day, George Strait,
Yes.
and he's written some hits with Billy Currington and all these hits with Easton Corbin, and I mean he's a killer songwriter, and he also plays. So he grew up paying his dues and stuff, and he's an incredible picker with Keith Whitley, and to have managed that Alan Jackson. I mean, he's done it all, and here I am from East Dublin, Georgia, sitting in an office in Nashville, on the second floor of a big building up there with Carson Chamberlain. What am I doing on his couch? And how you get there, I don't know, other than it's up 75 and over on 24. But that was an amazing thing to see him work in the studio and have the opportunity to do that is a blessing.
And I'm sure he's taught you a lot too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been a great friend and a great mentor, and given good advice on stuff. And I can't thank him enough for what he's done for me as an artist.
Yes. So more about this. I know he's co-wrote some songs on here with you,
That's
well
right.
as some other people. This album, or this EP, is available online.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And at your shows too, I'm sure.
Yeah, we sell it at the shows. If you're nostalgic like me, you can buy the actual hard copy
I'm the
CD
same way.
at a show, and you can get a hard copy CD off my website. If you go to scottbrantley.com, there's a little section on there to buy the CD. And I am actually the person that hand delivers those. Well, I don't hand deliver it. I actually have to package it and ship it to you.
So you sign it too, I'm sure.
So I tell you what, if y'all go on my website and order a CD, I'll sign it for you, and it'll be me that actually puts it in the box and takes it down to the post office to get to you. So you can buy the actual hard copy CD on there, but it is on iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, just about anywhere you look. You can find it online. You can pick up your Android phone and type in Scott Brantley on the Play Store. I'm there. You can pick up your iPhone, type in Scott Brantley. I'm there. Y'all pick up a copy if you will. I need it.
Yeah. Did you ever think back that you would be chasing this dream, like when you were younger, or when you first started, that you would be at the point you are now?
No, I didn't. I knew I always loved music. I always loved playing, and I had no clue that I wanted to be. A lot of people say that when they got the first time they laid their hands on the guitar, they knew what they wanted to do. Well, that was different for me, because like the song I was telling you about earlier about my dad, I wanted to be an athlete. I mean, I was a big, huge basketball fan. I played basketball, and that's what I wanted to do. But after about 14, I wasn't getting any taller.
That's important.
So I figured I better pick up something else. And music was always a part of my life, but it wasn't necessarily my goal to be an artist. I knew I loved country music. I knew I loved playing it. But after we started playing it and doing it more often, I knew that's where I wanted to be then. And then when I started trying to write songs, and I didn't start writing songs till I was in my early 20s, I guess, and which wasn't but a year or two ago. But But yeah, after I started writing songs and we played a few of them and people started liking my own material, that's when it really clicked that, oh, this is what I want to do, you know? So, no, not always, I guess, but.
But now that you're doing it.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing else I want to do.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. So where can folks go to find out more information about you? We mentioned your website.
Yeah, www.scottbrantley.com, my website, and there's links on there to the Facebook page, to the Twitter page, to the Instagram, all that stuff. You can find me. Facebook is facebook.com/ScottBrantleyMusic.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody took Scott Brantley. So Facebook.com/ScottBrantleyMusic. I posted a picture of my tomato sandwich last night, which got about 860 likes.
Are you kidding me?
No. We were sitting there eating, and I said, I hadn't had a good tomato sandwich in a while. And I got a thing with a friend of mine up in Athens. Her name's Melanie, and we always post pictures of our tomato sandwiches. And we play shows up there a lot, and they'll be at the shows. And after the show, she'll fix me a tomato sandwich and a fresh homegrown tomato, And there's nothing, she uses the same kind of mayonnaise I do. It's right on time. So last night I said, well, I'm going to play a joke, and I posted a picture of my tomato sandwich. And it had posted for about 2 minutes. It had like 19 likes. And I looked at it again about 30 minutes. It had 150 likes. And I'm like, what in the world is going on with my I called one of my band members. I told him, I said, I'm getting out of music. I'm fixing to go into farming. We're going to start selling tomato sandwiches, And I told my wife that, and she kind of laughed. And I looked this morning, that picture. If you find the Scott Brantley Music on Facebook with a picture of a tomato sandwich, that's me with 870 likes.
We'll know then.
I thought that was funny. I don't know why I'm sharing it, but it was funny to me. So
it's funny to me.
Yeah, Scott Brantley Music on Facebook. Scott Brantley everywhere else, I think. Twitter /Scott Brantley, Instagram and Scott Brantley, I believe, and all that. Thank you.
Yes, and I know you have a show tonight. You have to get back.
Yeah, I'm actually playing a show in my hometown, a little acoustic show. I try to play there as much as I can for the people that want to hear me there, and we're doing a little acoustic show out at El Amigo Restaurant. Starts at 7.
Great.
And then we're leaving to go to Augusta. We'll be playing a show in Augusta tomorrow night. I'll be over there at a place called Coyote, so we try to burn up the highway as much as we can.
In the listening room, right, in Nashville?
Yeah, next Monday night I'm playing a big show with a good friend of mine, Precious Harris, up there. It's called A Precious Night of Music at the listening room in Nashville next Monday. And we got a big thing. It's actually Saturday, the 27th, in Sparta, what they call Jimmy's July Jam. It's been going on for about 30 years, and it's a big party, a big field party. And we're actually headlining that this year.
Awesome.
We'll be in the headliner spot, which is the second. I'm playing that with a buddy of mine, Toby Adderhold, and his band, and Freelance Ruckus, the other band on the bill. And we think that's going to be a great night, too. So those are some of the shows that are coming up. You can see all those dates on the website. They're all there.
That's awesome. Well,
y'all pick a show and come see us.
Yes, I know. I want to now. So we thank you so much for coming, and we wish you so much. I mean, so your end game, your goal is to be able to play country music.
Yeah,
that's what you want to do.
That's the ultimate, the ultimate goal.
You're on your way. That's
thank
amazing.
You.
That's amazing. So can we go out with the last song?
Yeah, let's do it.
Tell us about it.
This here's a little fun song we wrote about a country boy and what I call his favorite piece of furniture, which is his cooler. And every country boy, don't matter how good or bad day he's having, he's always got his cooler. I mean, most guys that I know, I got a good buddy in Dublin. He rides around with 2 or 3 coolers in the back of his truck all the time. Like, really? I mean, what do you need a cooler for? You'll never know. You don't never know. So
that's right.
We wrote a song about a country boy's favorite piece of furniture. That's his cooler. And here we go.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Nah, thank you so much for having me. The fish ain't biting, my golf ball slicing, my country Cadillac won't crank. I got a hole in my Wranglers, my girlfriend's a stranger, down to $3 in the bank. No, I ain't got much, but you can't ignore that my cooler's bigger than yours. I don't need a house on the hill, a shiny Coupe de Ville, or your Olympic-sized swimming pool. It ain't hard to please a country boy like me. All my friends think I'm cool. No, I ain't got much, but I don't need any more, 'cause my cooler's bigger than yours. I got 27 cases of ice cold beer, a handle of Crown, a fifth of Everclear. All my buddies keep calling me a traveling liquor store. My cooler's bigger than yours. Yeah, I'm the life of the party. It don't get started till I show up with the goods. It don't get no better than when we get together in my red neck of the woods. No, I ain't got much, but I got booze galore. My cooler's bigger than yours. I got 27 cases of ice cold beer, a handle of Crown, a fifth of Everclear. All my buddies keep popping me a traveling liquor store. My cooler's bigger than yours. Keep popping the tops, boys, there's plenty more. My cooler's bigger than yours. Little song called My Cooler there for all the rednecks out there.
I love it. Once again, you guys, be sure to check out ScottBrantley.com. You can also find him on Facebook, facebook.com/ScottBrantleyMusic. Thank you once again for driving down here to be here with us and riding down here too.
Well, I'll come anytime. Y'all just let me know. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to get to the requests. We only have about 30 minutes left for requests, but that's all right. Go ahead and get them into us, and we hope you're having a good one with us. I have loved having Scott here. Don't forget to go get his EP. You can also get him on iTunes and scottbrantley.com.